Here are two extreme opinions on stress. Which do you agree more than the other? A. Stress is harmful and should be definitely avoided and reduced. B. Stress is beneficial and should be accepted and utilized. Perhaps many people find the former more agreeable than the latter, but the latest scientific understanding on stress will suggest you modify your idea on stress. Actually, stress can be both positive and negative, and the same stressful experience can cause good or bad effects depending on how you interpret it. Of course, chronic exposure to meaningless stresses significantly deteriorates our physical and psychological health. Imposing unnecessary and unreasonable stress on others is unacceptable. Not to mention, it should never be tolerated to justify causing unnecessary stress by saying, "It's for your own growth." However, it's impossible to get through life without any stressful experiences. Also, we cannot undo distressing events that have already happened to us. The only thing we can do is change how we interpret them. By changing how we think about stress, we can mitigate its bad effects, and possibly turn it into a positive. There is a widespread idea that stress is bad for our health, but what does the latest science say about stress? In 1998, 30,000 adults in the US were asked how much stress they had experienced in the last year. 8 years later, the researchers examined public records to find out who had died among the participants. They found that high levels of stress increased the risk of dying by 43%. However, this was only true for people who believe that stress is bad for their health. The researchers also asked them, "Do you believe that stress is harmful to your health?" Those who reported high levels of stress but did not view stress as harmful were the least likely to die. It might be hard to believe, but we can find similar phenomena in other cases as well. For example, there is a study on housekeeping workers, whose job is as physically tough as intense exercises. When they believed that their work was good exercises and expected health benefits, they got much fitter than when they didn't think so. Similarly, people with a positive attitude about aging live longer by around 8 years than those who have negative stereotypes about growing older. Also, those with the most positive views of aging had an 80% lower risk of heart attacks. Thus, the exact same situation ends up causing different outcomes, depending on how we perceive it. Of course, it doesn't mean that you can lose weight by just watching TV and eating snacks if you tell yourself that these are good exercises. Changing our perception is never about having an illusion. When two outcomes are possible, our expectations influence which one is more likely. When we view stress differently, our bodies and minds will respond to stress differently. For many, one of the most distressing moments in life is public speaking. Whether it is a presentation to the entire company or a speech at a wedding, right before you show up on stage, your heart rate goes up, your palms are sweating, and your mouth feels dry. Again, your stress response varies depending on how you interpret the situation. When the heart is pounding under pressure, one can either take it as something to be avoided and suppressed, or a sign of excitement and enthusiasm. Many people believe that the best strategy is the former one, trying to calm down under pressure, but studies have shown otherwise. A researcher at Harvard Business School designed an experiment to examine the effect. Among people who were about to give a speech, some of them were told to relax and calm their nerves by saying to themselves, "I am calm," while others were told to accept the anxiety and say, "I am excited." Neither strategy made the anxiety go away. However, speakers who embraced the stress appeared more confident, persuasive, and competent to the audience than speakers who tried to calm down. Moreover, this mindset intervention not only influences subjective perceptions from an audience, but also physiological responses within the body. In a similar experiment, subjects who considered stress as potentially helpful to promote one's health, performance, and growth, released more of the hormone DHEA that reduces the risk of stress-related diseases, such as anxiety disorder, depression, and heart disease. You can convert stress into energy by embracing it, rather than avoiding, resisting, and denying it. Next time you feel your heart pounding under pressure, you can talk to yourself. This is my heart working harder to deliver more oxygen to my body and brain, so that I can rise to this challenge. Do you think stress makes us selfish and self-defensive, or makes us compassionate and encourages us to help others? In fact, humans can make both of these choices, and again, stress can cause different effects depending on which action we take. Researchers at the University at Buffalo have shown that those who spend their time helping friends, neighbors, and family members were the least likely to increase their health risks when they experienced distressing life events, including job loss, the death of a loved one, and financial difficulties. Caring for others creates resilience to stress. If we look inside the body and see what happens under stress, the hormone oxytocin is released in response to stress. It is well known as the happiness hormone, since it fosters positive and tender feelings, but another important role of oxytocin is to fine-tune the brain's social instincts. It nudges us to be connected with others, encouraging us to help others and seek support. When we do have contact with other people, more of this hormone is secreted, making us feel warm and content. Moreover, oxytocin helps heart cells regenerate and repair from damages. In other words, compassion under stress makes us happier and healthier. In the ancient past, our ancestors couldn't survive without mutual cooperation, so it is no wonder that evolution rewarded altruistic behaviors under threats. It is a tough choice to take care of others when you yourself is stressed out, but it is ultimately better for yourself. We say, what goes around comes around, and this is true in a physiological sense. The benefit of altruism not only cycles through society until it comes back to us, but also instantly benefits ourselves within the body. Even before other people give you back, your body rewards you for your kindness. You may want to avoid stress as much as possible, but, first of all, a life with no stress is a lot more painful. Of course, unreasonable and chronic stress are not welcomed. For example, if your boss harasses you without love and rationality, that is never a stress factor, but a total disaster. Except for such cases, stress may be a natural byproduct of worthwhile days. Working enthusiastically for your goal will certainly entail some extent of stress. According to a study conducted by the Japanese government, the level of our happiness decreases when we have more than 7 free hours in a day. More importantly, we need to acknowledge the cost of avoiding stress. Going for a run or studying for the future is more stressful than lying down on a comfortable sofa. Listening to negative feedback and facing our own flaws could be very tough. Taking on tasks or roles you've never done before could lead to failure and the resulting stress. However, if we continuously avoid these opportunities to reduce stress, what will be the accumulated effect on our lives in the long term? We might be undermining our health, growth, and fulfillment in the future, in exchange for our present comfort. In short, happiness comes down to choosing between the discomfort of challenges and the discomfort of lack of challenges. The discomfort of trying something new, working hard, experiencing setbacks, or the discomfort of boredom, aimlessness, lack of personal growth. In other words, it is a choice between the pleasure of immediate ease and comfort, and the pleasure of fulfillment, depth, and community. Of course, what matters is taking a balance between the present comfort and effort for the future. However, those who desperately pursue maximizing pleasure and avoiding stress will not find happiness in the truest sense. Stress is neither all good nor all bad. So, how are you going to view and deal with stress?